My name is Hadley Vance, and I'm 34 years old. The moment my father called me just a babysitter in front of 300 doctors, surgeons, and hospital big shots, something inside me snapped. Not loudly, not dramatically, just, final, like the click of a lock turning. Because he had no idea, not one clue, that I was the only person in that room who could decide whether his dream project got $5 million or nothing at all. And if you're watching this, thank you. Seriously. I know life gets busy, so before we go back to where it all started, just know this. If you've ever been told your job isn't real work, if you've smiled through a family dinner while someone laughed at your career, then this story is for you. Now, let me take you back 3 months, to the night everything changed. It began at our monthly family dinner, same as always. My parents' house in Westchester, colonial style with ivy on the walls and silence in the air. Roast beef on the table, wine glasses half full, and my dad, Dr. Robert Vance, carving meat like he was performing surgery. 40 years, he said, not looking up. 40 years saving lives. The hospital's throwing me a black tie gala. 300 guests. Media coverage. The whole deal. Michael, my older brother, the golden child, the cardiothoracic fellow everyone calls doctor even at home, raised his glass. You deserve it, Dad. 800 surgeries? 9? 812, Dad corrected, smiling like it was a trophy. And Michael here will be presenting my Lifetime Achievement Award. Michael nodded. An honor. Then Dad turned to me. You'll come too, right, Hadley? I put down my fork. Of course. Good, just show up. Smile. That's all you need to do. That's all you need to do. Not, what are you working on lately? Not, how's your classroom? Just smile, be seen. Don't embarrass us. I wanted to scream, but instead I smiled. Because I knew something he didn't. My phone buzzed in my pocket, an email. Subject line, final interview confirmation, Director of Education, Harper Foundation. I didn't open it. Not there. Not with Dad glaring at phones on the table like they were weapons. But I felt it like a heartbeat in my palm. The Harper Foundation wasn't just some nonprofit. It managed over $200 million. Their new Director of Education would shape programs across the state, bridge gaps between schools and hospitals, and yes, decide which medical institutions got funding based on how seriously they took education. And guess what hospital had just submitted a $5 million grant request for a brand new cardiac wing? Brooks Medical Center, my father's hospital. His legacy, I'd applied quietly. No fanfare, no telling the family. My mentor, Dr. Patterson, had pushed me. You're qualified. You're passionate. And honestly, Hadley, the world needs people who speak both languages, education and medicine. She was right. For years, I'd built a classroom where kids with delays got early help, where therapists and teachers worked together, where vocabulary lessons weren't just about words, but about teaching a 4-year-old how to say, "My chest hurts," before a heart condition went unnoticed. But to my dad, I was the girl who played with crayons all day. Back at that dinner, Michael launched into a story about diagnosing a rare arrhythmia. Dad leaned in, nodding, asking questions like he was mentoring a protege. Mom chimed in with pride. I sat there, pushing peas around my plate, thinking about that interview. Thursday afternoon. Same time Dad wanted me to help set up centerpieces and test microphones. He'd already invited Dr. Patterson to the gala. She flew in specially, he said. She'd love to see you. What he didn't know, Dr. Patterson was on the Harper Foundation's board. She wasn't coming to chat with me. She was interviewing me. And he thought she'd guilt me into showing up for his party. He had no idea she was the reason I couldn't miss that interview. Later, in the kitchen, Mom handed me a stack of plates. You're quiet tonight. I'm thinking. About what? About how Dad's never once visited my classroom. He's been to Michael's clinic 4 times. But mine, never. Mom paused. He loves you. I know. But does he respect me? She didn't answer. I kept going. Teaching isn't babysitting. It's building brains before they even know how to argue. It's stopping future crises before they start. But try telling him that. My phone buzzed again. Harper Foundation. Confirming the interview. I typed back, I'll be there. Some opportunities come once. Respect should be constant. But when you don't get the second, you better damn well take the first. That night I sat in my apartment staring at the email. Director of Education. The $20,000 a year? Power to change systems. To make hospitals prove they actually cared about education. Not just pretend to for funding. If I stayed small, what would I lose? Not just the job, but the chance to fix a broken system. To prove that the little kids I taught weren't just playing. They were learning how to survive, communicate, heal. And then I saw it. On the Harper Foundation website. Under pending grants. Brooks Medical Center, 5 Maller's request, cardiac unit expansion. With a footnote, includes Community Health Education Initiative. A joke, 2 paragraphs of buzzwords. No curriculum. No trained educators. No follow-up. Exactly what I expected. And if I got this job, I'd be the one deciding if that proposal passed. Or failed. I closed the laptop. Walked to my bookshelf. Pulled out my thesis, The Critical Window, Neuroplasticity and Early Intervention, published, cited, respected everywhere, except in my own home. Dad had never asked to read it. Never asked about my research. Never asked anything. My phone rang. Dr. Patterson. Hadley, last call before Thursday. You still coming? I am. Dad wants me to help with the gala prep that day. And you're choosing the interview instead? Yes, she paused. Some opportunities come once. They do. And Margaret Harper, founder of the foundation, asked about you by name. I may have mentioned your program, your collaboration with pediatric teams, how you helped 12 kids avoid special ed through early detection. My chest tightened. She wants someone who understands both worlds, Dr. Patterson said. Someone who won't be scared off by doctors acting like education is soft science. I smiled. I'm not scared of them. No, she said. You're smarter than most of them. After we hung up, I made my decision. I wouldn't tell the family, not yet. Let them keep calling me the preschool teacher. Let them laugh. When the truth came out, it wouldn't be a whisper. It would be a thunderclap. Some opportunities come once. Respect should be constant. But sometimes, you have to walk into a room so powerful, so undeniable, that no one can look away, even the people who spent your whole life ignoring you. And I was about to walk into that room, but first I had to survive Wednesday night. I called Dad. I can't help with the gala prep Thursday. Silence. Then, professional commitment? His voice dripped with disbelief. Yes. Can't you reschedule? No. This is my 40th anniversary, Hadley. What could be more important than family? It's professional development. A workshop? On finger painting? I clenched my jaw. It's an interview. For what? A position. Important one. More important than this? Yes. Michael's voice jumped on speaker. Come on, Had, it's one day. Would you skip rounds for party planning? I shot back. That's different. How? You save lives. So do I said. Just earlier. Before the ER, Dad cut in. Your brother deals with real medicine. My work matters. To whom? The words hit like ice. Mom whispered in the background. Don't disappoint your father. I'll be at the gala, I said. But not for setup. Then Dad dropped the bomb. Dr. Patterson's coming early. She has a meeting downtown but said she'll stop by around 4. I told her you'd be there helping. My blood froze. Her meeting downtown? That was my interview. He was using her to trap me. She's on the Harper panel, I said. I can't miss it. She said she wanted to talk to you about an opportunity. That opportunity is the job I'm interviewing for. Silence. Then, this attitude of yours. My attitude? You mean having a life? You mean being selfish? This family gave you everything. Everything except respect. Dead silence. Then, cold. If you can't prioritize family, maybe you shouldn't come at all. Maybe I shouldn't, I hung up. Sat there, hands shaking. He'd rather uninvite me than admit my time had value. And that's when I knew. Thursday wasn't just an interview. It was war. While he arranged flowers and tested mics, I'd be sitting across from Margaret Harper, proving I was the best person to lead a $50 million initiative. He thought Dr. Patterson was on his side. He had no idea she was already on mine. Thursday morning, 3 missed calls. A text from Michael, he's really upset. Just apologize. I called back during lunch. I'm not apologizing for having a career. Your career? Dad scoffed. Let's be honest. You sing songs. You wipe noses. You draw pictures. I shape futures. Michael shapes futures. He saves them. When his young patients can tell him something's wrong because they learned language in preschool, who do you think taught them that? Silence. Anyone can watch kids, he said. Then why is there a 3-year wait list for my class? He didn't answer. Why is his time more valuable than mine? I pressed. He went to medical school. I have a master's from Columbia. In education. You say it like it's nothing, but when Michael loses a patient, one family grieves. When I fail a child, society loses a future doctor, teacher, leader, maybe even the person who could have saved his life. Don't be dramatic. I'm being factual. But you've never asked about my work, so you wouldn't know. I know you make $35,000. There it was. The real measure, money, status, letters after a name. So teachers are worthless? Not worthless, just less essential. You didn't have to say it. I've lived it. Mom got on the phone. Just come help for an hour. I have an interview. For what? For a job that pays triple my salary. Suddenly she cared. Dad grabbed the phone. What job? Where? Does it matter? According to you, it's just more babysitting. This is exactly your problem. Always defensive. When has anything in this family been about me? Name one time you introduced me without apologizing for my career. One time you asked about my work like it mattered. Silence. I'll be at the gala, I said. I'll smile. I'll clap. But I'm done pretending my work doesn't matter. If you don't help set up, don't bother coming. Is that an ultimatum? No, it's a consequence. And I choose the interview. I hung up. 2 hours later, I walked into the Harper Foundation building. Suit sharp, heart steady. Whatever happened next, I'd chosen myself. And in that moment, that was enough. I just walked into the Harper Foundation building. Suit sharp, heart steady, hands no longer shaking. Whatever happened in that interview, I'd already won one battle. I chose myself. The receptionist smiled. You're here for Ms. Harper? I nodded. Yes, Hadley Vance. She buzzed me through. The elevator ride up felt like floating. 12 years of being called the creative one. Good with kids, not cut out for real science. All collapsing behind me like a dying echo. The doors opened to a quiet floor bathed in morning light. Floor-to-ceiling windows. Art on the walls. A calm so deep it made your breath slow down. This wasn't just an office. It was power. Quiet, unshaken power. Margaret Harper stood waiting, flanked by 2 board members, and Dr. Patterson. Our eyes met. She didn't smile. She didn't have to. That tiny nod said everything. You belong here. Ms. Vance, Margaret began, your file speaks for itself. But I want to hear it from you. Tell me, why education? And don't give me the textbook answer. Give me the truth. So I did. I told her about the 4-year-old who couldn't say I'm sick until we taught him body vocabulary. About the boy with motor delays who learned to hold a pencil before he could tie his shoes. About how early intervention stopped 3 kids from falling into special ed, just because someone noticed early enough. And every doctor in this city, I said, benefited from someone teaching them how to speak, think, focus, before they ever held a scalpel. Dr. Patterson added, Hadley's curriculum is now used in 7 pediatric clinics. Her research on neuroplasticity has been cited nationally. Margaret leaned forward. We're launching a $50 million initiative to bridge healthcare and education. We need someone who can look a room full of surgeons in the eye and say, your medical brilliance means nothing if you can't teach a child to survive. I can do that, I said. Good. Because starting today, you'll evaluate grant proposals from major hospitals, including Brooks Medical Center. I didn't blink. She slid a folder across the table. Inside, my father's hospital. 5 million request. Cardiac unit expansion. And under Community Education Initiative, 2 paragraphs. Vague promises, no budget, no curriculum, no qualified staff. Exactly what I expected. Margaret watched me. You'll recuse yourself from direct decisions involving family-affiliated institutions, but your team will assess it. Your standards will apply. Of course, I said. She smiled. The position is yours, if you want it. I didn't hesitate. I want it. Then welcome aboard. As I left, Dr. Patterson walked with me. Gala's tonight. I know. She'll be there. Margaret's on the hospital board. I nodded. Let's see how long it takes him to realize the joke's on him. That night, I arrived at the Marriott Grand Ballroom 45 minutes late. Not because I was stuck in traffic, because I wanted my entrance to land like thunder. The ballroom glittered. 300 doctors, surgeons, donors, all dressed in black tie, clinking glasses, laughing at my father's latest surgery story. He stood on stage, microphone in hand, glowing like a king. And yes, he said, voice booming, even my daughter could make it, between nap time and snack time. Laughter rippled, some polite, some cruel. I found my seat. Mom gave me a weak smile. Michael mouthed, sorry. My phone buzzed. Subject, official appointment, Director of Education, Harper Foundation. Starting salary, $120,000. I opened it slowly. Let the screen glow in the dim light. Then Dr. Reynolds from cardiology leaned over. Hey, Hadley. Did you bring crayons for us? His wife elbowed him. But he was drunk and proud. I smiled. No, but I brought something better. Before he could respond, movement at the door caught everyone's eye. Margaret Harper walked in, elegant, calm, commanding silence without saying a word. She spotted Dr. Patterson, then me. A nod, my pulse didn't race. It roared. Dad was still talking. My son, the doctor. My legacy in medicine. Michael stepped up, gave a polished speech about mentorship, greatness, carrying the torch. Applause filled the room. Then the event coordinator tapped the mic. A surprise guest would like to say a few words. Dad blinked. Oh, of course. Margaret Harper, our most generous donor. Polite applause turned to real interest. Margaret took the stage. I apologize for interrupting, she said, but some news is too important to wait. The room stilled. The Harper Foundation is launching a $50 million initiative to merge healthcare and education. For months, we searched for the right leader, someone with vision, expertise, and the courage to challenge the medical world when it dismisses education. She turned, looked right at me. That person, she said, is Hadley Vance. Silence. Absolute. Like someone had pressed mute on the universe. Dad's smile froze. Michael's jaw dropped. Mom gripped her clutch like it could save her. Margaret continued. Effective immediately, Hadley will oversee all educational initiatives and evaluate every healthcare grant proposal we receive. Then came the final blow. Including, she said, the $5 million request from Brooks Medical Center. Gasps, whispers, stunned faces. The babysitter now held the keys to her father's dream project. Margaret handed me the mic. 300 eyes burned into me. I stood, walked to the stage, took the microphone, looked out, not at the crowd, at him. Thank you, Margaret, I said, voice clear. I'm honored. Health doesn't start in the ER. It starts in the classroom. The child who learns to say my chest hurts at age 4? That's not babysitting. That's prevention. The kid who struggles to hold a pencil? That's not play. That's early detection. And the woman who spends her life building those foundations? I paused. That's not less than... That's first. In my role, I'll ensure every hospital asking for education funding actually delivers, not just checks boxes. And yes, I said, turning slightly toward Dad, that includes Brooks Medical Center. The educational component of your proposal? Weak, vague promises. No measurable outcomes, no certified educators. It won't pass. The room cracked. Doctors stared. Administrators scribbled notes. Dad looked like he'd been slapped. Margaret added, Hadley will recuse herself from direct decisions. But her standards? They apply to everyone. Then came the knife twist. She insisted on it. I handed back the mic. No drama, no yelling, just calm, undeniable truth. I stepped off the stage, and for the first time in my life, the room didn't laugh at me. They respected me. Doctors approached. Not to pat my head, to ask questions. Dr. Kim, can we adapt your curriculum for our anxiety program? Dr. Foster, we need help with motor skill tracking. Even Dr. Reynolds mumbled, sorry about the crayon thing. Michael hugged me. You earned this. Mom whispered, I'm so proud. Dad finally came over. Voice low. You kept this from us. You never asked, I said. You could have told me. When? Between calling my job flexible and introducing me as the one who works with little kids, he had no answer. Later, alone by the dessert table, he said, Your proposal evaluation, is it really that bad? Yes, I said. And if you want it approved, you'll need real educators, real curriculum, real results. He swallowed. Can you help? I can't, but my team can. Standard consultation, official channels. He winced. You're making me earn it. I'm making you respect it. 6 months later, I stood inside Brooks Medical Center's new education wing. Not the cardiac unit. The education wing, fully funded, fully staffed, with a sign on the wall, the Hadley Vance Early Intervention Program. Dad gave a speech. Mentioned me 4 times. Got my title right. Every time. Afterward, Michael said, he's different. He applied for 10 scholarships in early childhood education, I said. Named after me. Isn't that good? It is. But I asked him to name them after the role, not me. He nodded. Boundaries. Yes. That night, Mom called. He's reading your thesis. Took him 12 years, I said. He's trying. He's trying because he needs approval. That's not love. That's survival. But it's a start. 1 year later. Every Tuesday, my father shows up at my old preschool. Sits on a tiny chair. Tries to help kids with puzzles. Fails. Smiles anyway. Last week, he looked up at me and said, This is harder than open heart surgery. I said, It should be. You're shaping minds, not just fixing hearts. He didn't argue. Here's the truth I've learned. You don't need your parents' pride to be powerful, but it hurts when they only respect you after you prove you can take away their power. I still don't get the warmth he gives Michael, but I have something stronger. Respect built on merit. Boundaries built on self-worth. And a legacy that started not in an operating room, but in a classroom. If you've ever been told your work isn't real, if you've smiled through dinner while someone laughed at your career, this is for you. You don't need permission to be great. Sometimes the world only listens when you speak from a position of power. So, claim it, earn it, keep it, and never let anyone tell you that caring for the smallest among us is small work, because sometimes the future walks into a classroom on tiny feet, and someone has to teach it how to speak, how to heal, how to change the world. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, please like, subscribe, and share, because every undervalued professional deserves to be seen. And remember, you don't have to become your parents' pride. You just have to become your own. Until next time.